Am I audible? Honorable Justice Amreshwar Pratap Sai ji, Professor Dr. Dilip Uke sir, Professor Dr. Anil ji Varyat sir, distinguished faculty members, other administrative staffs, and other members of our MNLU family. A very good morning to all of you, and a very hearty and warm welcome to the 7th Orientation Day of Maharashtra National University, Mumbai. Now, before we start with our event, every new beginning shall begin with the invocation of God. Now, I invite our distinguished members and distinguished guests to kindly light the divine lamp. Thank you. To give this event a fruitful beginning, and before we commence with the orientation day, I'll first of all invite our guest to kindly come to the dais. So just a humble request. I request everybody to put your phones on silent mode. Okay. So before we start with the formal function, I would like to invite Ms. Pooja Kulkarni ma'am to kindly offer a prayer before we start with the event.
या कुन्देदुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रामृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमा आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदां जाड्या अन्धकारपहां हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिकां विदधतीं पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदां बुद्धिं प्रदां शारदां बुद्धिं प्रदां शारदां. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So we are officially starting with the event. And as I say, legal education stands for the enhancement of human sensibility and injects a sense of protecting human liberty and rule of law. So we at MNLU Mumbai are committed to impart such body of knowledge that will make all the students change makers and thought leaders of tomorrow. I, Aditya Anil Variat, on behalf of Maharashtra National University Mumbai, would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the students, including their parents, their friends, their family members, and their dear ones who are watching us live as we formally welcome our BBLLB honors program students and our LLM students. Studying at MNLU Mumbai is more than academics. We offer a holistic education model that covers all aspects of a law student's life, from library to sports to research to mental health. We offer to provide a platform that can help you to achieve an overall development in life. Within a short span, MNLU Mumbai has carved out a name for itself in law and legal education. MNLU Mumbai today is one of the premier institutions providing law courses in India. It was established in the year of 2014, and we are here today to celebrate the 7th Orientation Day. Under the able guidance of our Chancellor, Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud sir, and our able leader, our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Professor Dilip Uke sir, MNLU being located in this financial capital of India has proved to be a center of excellence, not only for academics, but also for research. MNLU Mumbai offers BBLLB program, LLM program, LLM program that too, a professional LLM program, an LLM in association with NISM SEBI, and an MA in mediation. To carve out the need for better lawyers for tomorrow and to be in touch with how the law is progressing, we have introduced multiple courses to cater the needs of students. We have also set up different centers of research. We also have different chairs, DPIT chair, which is established under the Government of India. We have Justice ML Pense chair on environmental laws. We have advanced research centers, including centers for arbitration, centers on IP, on environment, on mediation, amongst others. We have also set up an advanced center for research, a drafting studio where we are a stakeholder in intervention in policies and research. So we have set up so much in the past few years. It is possible only because of the faculty members we have, the leadership that we have, and the students who have contributed in this journey. Before I proceed with the event, as the anchor of this event, I take this responsibility to convey my heartiest congratulations to each one of you, each one of the students who have cleared the exams and taken admission at MNLU, because you have survived with extraordinary resilience at a time when the fundamental characters of academic institutions have been tested, when the socio-cultural life of academic institutions have changed beyond recognition since 2020. I can only hope that all the students who have joined in this program are hale and hearty, and you have survived this journey, this crisis in your own way, and are now able to focus on the future. We will indeed overcome this pandemic, but at the same time, it is equally important for us to recognize the privilege that we have to be even a part of this process and this journey. As responsible students of a premier institution like MNLU Mumbai, we should understand that recently UNESCO came out with a report, and UNESCO has declared that over 1 billion plus children have been deprived of opportunities of education because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And although this pandemic has not in itself created a discrimination between the rich and poor, or the vulnerable or the marginalized and the affluent families, but the impact of pandemic has daunted the vulnerable. In a country like India, only 10 to 15% of families have access to online education, or the three pillars of online education. That is a reasonably uninterrupted Wi-Fi, a reasonably uninterrupted electricity, and a reasonably functioning equipment. Now, this is a question that we must ask ourselves, that when only 10 to 15% of India have access to this, you and us are privileged enough to have it. Now, as it is said that with great power comes great responsibility, with greater privilege comes greater responsibility. As lawyers of tomorrow, as social engineers of tomorrow, as young legal minds, it is the responsibility that all of you have to make sure that to use the best of this privilege and to work towards the social development of this country. Now, I formally invite our Honorable Registrar Sir to deliver the welcome address. Our Registrar Sir, Professor Dr. Anilji Variath, is an erudite scholar and has been an academic over the past 3 decades. In the past, he has served as a Deputy Director of MNLU Law School Mumbai and has played a fundamental role in establishing several institutions. He was a part of the original team who set up this institution, and he was one of the fundamental pillars in what the institution is today. Presently, Sir holds the chair, ML Pencil Chair on Environment Laws. He is heading the Center for Research in Criminal Justice, and is also the in-charge registrar of this institution. Sir, it is indeed a great honor to have you amongst us today. I hand over the floor to you to formally welcome the students.
Thank you, Aditya. The Honorable Chief Guest of the day, Honorable Sri Justice Amrinder P. Sahi, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Dilip Uke Sir, Dr. Kiran Roy, Head of the Department UG, and Dr. Anand Rawat, Head of the Department PG, the members of the faculty and staff, the students, the parents, their family members, and all those who have gathered on this platform in this morning. To witness this formal orientation cum inaugural session of the newly admitted students of BBA LLB 5-year program and the LLM program. I am profoundly delighted to extend a hearty welcome to you all to this session on behalf of the Maharashtra National Law University family. When I say Maharashtra National Law University Mumbai family, I mean it. Really, I mean it. As a new entrance into the family, the young ones, the young minds who are here to seek excellence in their academic career, you will feel the comfort and warmth of family when you are in our campus. I am equally sad that this global pandemic has kept us away at a distance physically, but still, we miss you deeply here today. The new batch, we miss them deeply here. But yet, I am sure that we stay connected. We stay connected through an unseen, invisible thread that we call as the bondage of MNLU Mumbai family. First of all, on behalf of the MNLU family, its Chancellor, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dilip Uke, all the members of the faculty and the staff and students, I welcome the newly admitted students to the profession of the learned, the legal profession. Legal profession plays an important role in developing a country and developing socially committed lawyers who contribute towards the mission of nation building. If you have a cursory glance at the history, you would find that members of legal profession had always been in the forefront of nation development and social reformation. That is why they are called the social engineers. Unlike in the past, the legal profession has assumed importance, global importance and significance in the globalized era. The opportunities in this profession today has no limit than the sky. At the same time, the globalized world and the competition prevailing all over the world has also posed tremendous challenges to the profession and to the young ones like you who are entering the profession. With a scientifically structured curriculum, a team of dedicated teachers and committed staff, supported by extra and co-curricular activities, MNLU Mumbai will transform you to such a level that you will be able to overcome the challenges and explore the unlimited world of law. When I say a committed staff, I recall the words when Jawaharlal Nehru spoke from the Red Fort on the first Independence Day. When the whole world sleep, the India will arise and awake. Similarly, I must say, when the whole India, all the education institutions and the universities were shut down because of the pandemic, our staff was in this campus, braving the pandemic and conducting the examination of the students, and we are the university in India to declare the final year result in 2020 for the first time. So that shows the commitment of the MNLU family towards their children, which I need not speak because MNLU Mumbai as of today does not require any further introduction. Today, on this August gathering, we have an eminent personality, our chief guest, Mr. Justice Amrinder Pratap Sahi, who is currently the director of the National Judicial Academy. National Judicial Academy, you know, is an institute of excellence which trains the judges from India and abroad. Before taking over the responsibility, his lordship had been the Chief Justice of Madras and and Patna High Courts. And formal introduction of the Chief Justice will be made by the anchor thereafter. So, and the students, I take this opportunity to welcome you to this gathering, sir, to this session. And I extend a warm welcome from the bottom of my heart. The contribution of our Honorable Vice Chancellor in bringing the university to new heights is well known to everyone. It needs no further mention. He had always been a source of inspiration for every one of us in our endeavor towards excellence. So I, on behalf of each one of you assembled here, even on behalf of the newly admitted students, I extend a warm welcome to our Vice Chancellor. And in the academic front, we have two teaching departments, Department of UG and PG. I'm so happy that both the departments are headed by really dedicated and committed personalities. Our HOD PG, Dr. Anand Rawat, and HOD UG, Dr. Kiran Rai, both are present over here. I extend a warm welcome to them. And the members of the faculty, all the faculty members, the staff associated with all the departments we have, the administration, finance, and student affairs departments are there, examination department are there. All of them, irrespective of their rank and cadre, have come here and assembled in this conference hall to witness the welcoming of our new students, young minds. Under the efficient leadership of our Chancellor as well as the Vice Chancellor, MNLU has made its own space in the legal education in India by providing one of the best legal educations available in the country. With respect to imparting knowledge, we believe in the ancient Sanskrit verse, Savidyaya Vimukte. Knowledge is one that liberates. That liberates you from fear, that liberates you from bondage, that liberates you from slavery, that liberates you from narrow and fragmented visions and ideas and negative thoughts and takes you to the positivity and excellence. We strive to become one of the excellent institutions of legal learning globally in the coming years. I take this opportunity to call each one of you, the faculty, the staff, the students, the parents, everybody, to join hands with us and to be the stakeholder in our endeavor. Once again, welcome you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anil sir. As sir rightly pointed out, MNLU Mumbai needs no introduction because it is already making a space for itself in the legal field. It is indeed a great honor for us to have with us our chief guest for today's function, Honorable Justice Amreshwar Pratap Sahiji. Sir has practiced in Allahabad High Court on civil and constitutional side from 1985 to 2004, before being elevated as a judge of the court in 2005. Sir, until his elevation as the Chief Justice of Patna High Court in 2005, he also became the Chief Justice of Madras High Court in 2019, and he retired on 2020. Sir is a perfect blend of academics and practice. After tirelessly serving the judiciary for 16 long years, his retirement has left an uncanny void at the bench, which can never be filled because of judges of his caliber are very rare. Justice Sahi is a rare judicial mind whose academic brilliance, coupled with his visionary insight, helped him conquer unachievable heights. He has a plethora of scintillating judgments to his name and has immensely contributed in distilling and reshaping the jurisprudence of this country. Sir is now functioning as the head of the National Judicial Academy, an institution of eminence which has the responsibility to train judges of tomorrow. It is indeed a great honor to have you with us, sir. I hand over the floor to you. Thank you so much.
Am I audible, please? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. Respected Vice Chancellor, the learned registrar, members of the faculty of the university, dear students, parents, and all who have assembled virtually as well as physically. Well, it is a great privilege to address a gathering, and that too even of an institution of which Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud is the Chancellor. I mention this because he was my Chief Justice, and not only a Chief Justice, but I have seen in him a personality that can conceive, contrive, articulate, persuade, and above all, a very big heart to resolve. To be in the patronage of such a person is really a privilege. The institution in which the students are entering the portals with this introduction has been established to impart one of the precious, most precious pursuits of knowledge, which is law. I maintain this throughout. The reason is that law is connected in every aspect of life. It regulates life even while you breathe, while you drink a drop of water, or even when you think about others. Not only this planet, but even the entire universe. Man has become so powerful that he conceives of controlling everything except when it is the pandemic. Nonetheless, within these paradoxes, the national law schools, not only at Mumbai but throughout the country, they have made a significant contribution towards the growth and development of legal education in particular. The pursuers not only of the noble profession but also of academics, of services, they have been greatly benefited by such institutions that have now established themselves firmly and are now extending that education which can be called to be competitive enough with international standards. Well, on the other hand, legal education represents the ethics of the community and is therefore a vibrant tool of a transformation that confirms the faith and aspirations of the public at large in judicial governance. The establishment of such institutions has led us to this stage where we can now proudly say that legal education has taken strides and the old concept or picture of lawyers being viewed with a lowered eye has started diminishing. Well, a university should be a place of light, liberty, and learning, as Benjamin Disraeli said. I conceive these institutions, including my National Judicial Academy, as those places and an arena where it is not mere teaching or imparting education. It is teaching life itself through dialogues, as the Greeks, as our Oriental sages thought of. And these dialogues help to evolve a civilization with change according to the needs of the society. The university is a bridge, but a very important milestone in the career of the students who have joined this university. It opens a vast opportunity to tap the means that have been offered to them, and they will begin a journey that will help them to unravel those imaginative powers that can extend to unimaginable extents. Law has such a wide horizon. Nothing is out of course for a student of law, because every aspect of life has to be learned, and then every experience of life has to be synchronized when you enter any of the professions now guaranteed under this branch of learning. It is a very modern rational thought as is projected, but as a matter of fact, the pursuit of justice is ancient, and it is the highest aspiration of mankind to be pursued. Well, it is a very big challenge, and you have to implore your minds. You are not going to just educate yourself. You are going to build yourself into somebody who is going to contain society. And that is why you are known as soldiers of social engineering. You have been now ordained with the admissions to avail the arriving moments. But please remember, you are not here to repeat what others have done, but to ensure by your capacities that you are capable of bringing about change. Your ambition should not halt, and your endeavor should be to think what others have not thought. No, you are not here to just imitate others. Rather, there is a certain perfection within you. And as Swami Vivekananda says, you are here to manifest that perfection. Well, one of the great philosophers, Goethe, put it in a different way. He said, everything has been thought of before, but the problem is to think of it again. It is said that you have to turn these mirrors into open windows. You have to transform your learning into new ideas and theory into practice. In this endeavor, when you have the capacity to imagine everything, you have the capacity to arrange everything and do everything, you might be disillusioned at times. Because traveling a distance from a certain level of ignorance to a still more thoughtful mode might threaten you with some form of uncertainty. But please don't lose hope. It is hard work when it meets opportunity that luck comes to you. You have got this opportunity, this great opportunity to receive the learning from one of the best universities of the country. Please endeavor to turn your ordinary talent into the extraordinary. I congratulate all the students who have been placed under the sunshine of this university to deliver their best by preparing themselves for the highest aspirations in life. Study the atmosphere today. We are 130 million people huddled together under the world's longest written constitution, which is an evolving document that you will learn gradually. It has the capacity to mold itself, but with a restraint, not to transform the basic structure. The scale of learning and the scale of challenge that you are facing today in society and questions which are emerging, thoughts which are reeling under you, will compel you to think otherwise. But you are there to be guided by your eminent faculties who will tell you how to transform your thoughts in the best possible way. The challenge that we are facing today, and it is one of the challenges which I am witnessing, money is chasing everything. Money is chasing talent. Money is chasing power. Money is chasing the entire globe. In this atmosphere, and where there is no dearth of destructive ideas as well, terrorism is very much there. You have many such movements throughout the globe, which will tell you that, well, it is no longer any use to establish a rule of law. But my dear friends, every such movement tends to overpower civilization. And every person in power tries to mold you as he represents humanity. Well, the need of the hour is to recognize the correct mode of life. And law is one of the best tools to understand it. The society today is excited and almost revolutionized, if I may say so, about the parameters of control through law. Whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is the right to privacy, or whether it is the desire to seek protection under the law. It is in this background that you are now going to study law and become the vehicle of change. You are going to define life in a new way. And your work will not be confined just to memorizing codes and statutes and the articles of the Constitution. There are many more surprises in abundance in law. And it will be a real, I would say, entrepreneurship that has been offered to you. So please don't limit yourself to the dry study of law, as they call it, but enliven it with such studies, such supplements that you find relevant for life. Your power to imagine and think cannot be limited. And I'm reminded of the famous American lawyer Clarence Darrow, who was known as the attorney for the damned. In his famous summation speech of the monkey trial that was based on a dispute having arisen as to why Charles Darwin's theory was being taught in a school, Clarence Darrow, fighting endlessly in his summation speech, said, the court or any power on earth cannot take away anybody's power to reason or think. It is this independence which you are going to learn through the study of law. But at the same time, how to reason out the law so that it comes to the benefit of all mankind. Please embrace this choice of law with interest and investigate everything in depth. You might be remembering, and millions say, that the apple fell from the tree. But don't forget, it was Newton who thought as to why it fell from the tree. You have to be curious with this question, why, throughout this learning of the profession. Doubt and question your thoughts, your views and your convictions. And you will be finding that difficulties themselves bring out solutions. Well, at times we tend to police others. We try to capture somebody else's mind and we try to impose certain thoughts. Please remember, as I said earlier, this is a place of dialogue and not of mere argument. It is exchange of ideas, whether it is with your faculties or whether with your fellow students. It is well said that those who listen and hear learn more. I think this practice of a tolerant hearing will develop in you that attitude of life which is required most, particularly in present times. I tell you, there are many philosophers, many thinkers who have added to this chapter of learning the law, and dissent is also one of them. Recently, I had the occasion to receive a couple of volumes of Justice Nariman's Law on Dissent, which he has researched and published in 2 volumes. I will just remind you, and I will request you to remember the quote of French philosopher Voltaire, who always respected what others would say, but he said it forcefully. He said, I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. This should be the attitude to learn and hear. John F. Kennedy, when he was addressing Princeton University, said, everyone has a private hope and a personal dream. Pursue it for the best cause of the nation. I think the forum that you have joined is the best forum which can provide a better direction to the nation. Nothing in this vocation of law is divorced from life, and it has its deep foundations in ethics and morality. All the values that we cherish in life are contained in our laws, in our constitution itself. Your pursuit will unfold these values, and I will narrate you a couple of instances by which you can imagine as to the extent which law embraces and has been embracing for centuries together. There are many such instances, right from the trial by Pontius Pilate of Jesus Christ until our Nirbhaya. We call ourselves a civilized world. We call ourselves a peaceful world, but we are still militarized. We are still terrorized. We are still reeling under poverty, in spite of the best of whatever we have achieved. In this 75th year of independence, please imagine the extent that we have traveled. But to share an experience from the law books, since you are new students, barring the LLM students, a couple of decisions might invoke the fire within you to understand as to what extent may you have to go to understand the law. The first little story that I would like to bring a little thrill in you after this dreary speech that I have given is a very old decision, English decision of the 19th century in the Queen versus Dudley and Stephens. This was a unique case, and I'm mentioning to the newcomers a rare case where the question was placed in the situation, what would you have done? And it is not an imaginary situation. It was a real case where 4 sailors set for Australia, and ultimately they were marooned on an island. By the way, this is a case which was tried in the High Court of England in 1884. And all of them, after being marooned, had nothing to survive. 3 out of the 4 decided that the youngest of the lot, whose name was Parker, we should sacrifice him, and rather he should be our food material for survival for the rest of the days. This was decided in between by the 2 of them. The third one did not either agree or disagree. And ultimately, what they did was they killed the youngest of the lot, name was Parker, and they consumed his mortal remains, a number for 20 days. Ultimately, a German ship rescued them. They were brought back to England, and in November 1884, they were tried on the charge as to whether they had committed homicide or whether it was murder, whether there was culpability in it or not, as to whether they were guilty at all or not. And then, as I said at the opening of this case, that what would you have done in that situation? So law and life came together in that case. The jury were entirely ignorant of any such previous case, and the matter was therefore referred to the higher court. And the question arose before Lord Coleridge, who was presiding over the bench. He said that these men were subject to a terrible temptation and to sufferings which might break down the bodily power of the strongest man and try the conscience of the best. Now, if you read this sentence, Lord Coleridge connects both things. He connects law, he connects temptation, and the inner conscience of the best. The study of law goes to this depth. A death sentence was passed on Dudley and Stephens, who were the conspirators. But Lord Coleridge made a request to the government that in view of the observations made by me, let the government consider granting them some mercy. Now look at the irony of law. The law says, give them the death sentence. The courts of equity, the principles of equity, justice, and good conscience, they say something else. The death sentences were ultimately commuted to just 6 months of imprisonment. Now, this is what you are going to learn and try to learn in the institution that you have joined. And you will debate it with yourself, as I said earlier. The question is, what would you have done? And this will trouble you throughout your life, because there are cases and cases which will trouble you and concerned with life itself. Now, a paradox. Another case, almost of the same era, that arose is of great interest and which might thrill you. It is more than a movie. It is more than something imaginative, but it happened in reality. That was the case of the murder of one lady, Emma Keyes, who was murdered in November 1884 by a man named Lee. John Lee, to be precise. He was committed because the circumstances led to believe that he was the only person last to leave the house in which that lady was living. But when he was committed to the court and when he was asked to talk, he kept silent. You will learn in the years to come that there is a right of silence to any accused in a crime. He was suggested that you are surely going to be hanged, and you please now spend the rest of your time in preparing for the rest of the world. He took this prophecy or pronouncement as a real salvation for his case. And he started praying to God. When he was brought to court, and as is usual, when the prisoner was asked that would he like to say something after the trial had concluded, he said, I was calm and quiet and silent throughout the trial. The reason, my Lord, why I was so is because, now mark these words, I trust in my Lord and he knows that I am innocent. Now the faith that he expressed was in divinity, into the unknown. Please imagine this. He did not say that I trust in the judges or I trust in the judicial system. All these debates are going on these days. People forget what a divinity is because there are many non-believers also amongst us. But nonetheless, I am citing this example before you that what you can learn from it. He said, I believe in the Lord and he knows that I am innocent. After he was sentenced, he was sent for execution. And in those days, before execution, his scaffold had to be witnessed by at least 3 persons: a preacher, the hangman, and of course, the doctor, apart from the magistrate who is to get the sentence executed. The scaffold was tested twice. The rope knots were also tested, and they were found perfectly to be in order. The scaffold was pulled, the trapdoor opened perfectly, and it was announced by the hangman that everything is in order. The prisoner should be brought in. Now Lee was brought in. And when the lever was pulled, the trap door did not open. The reason was Exeter was the place where the prison was, and there was a lot of moisture in the prison. So after the trap door had been tested and closed, the moisture had seeped in, as a result whereof when the lever was pulled, the trap door did not open. As you see, normally during the rainy season, wooden doors easily do not open and you have to try hard to open the windows and the doors. This is what exactly happened. The prisoner was brought down. The trap door was again tested. He was again taken there. And again the same thing happened. Then the third time when he went there, he just couldn't understand what was happening. And the third time again the trap door failed. The preacher then said, I do not believe the law. I believe the law of the Lord, in whom the prisoner had believed. And therefore, I will not withstand the testimony of the hanging of this man any further. Lee was brought down and then released. And then he married, went to America. That is part of written, recorded history. My dear students, I have narrated this to incite your curiosity in law. Why should such things do happen? What is law? What is good conscience? What is equity? And what it has got to do with life? I will request you to train yourself in this. But how do you train yourself? I will conclude by telling you that there are certain preliminary areas of concentration for every student. And I tell you, your university is not the best. It is unique. You have arrived in a theater of learning, which you cannot imagine what it will impart to you. The first thing that you have to have is faith in your faculties. The second thing that you have to have is command over language. I'm reminded of Winston Churchill, who, when King George VI died, people were in his own party after him to make him quit as prime minister. So when he heard the news of King George VI, he started writing his speech in midnight. His wife and his secretary asked, why are you killing yourself at this age? The answer that he gave still rings, and it should ring in your mind as well. He said, anything less than perfection in my solemn speech will be a disaster. So in law, anything less than perfection might take away the life of anybody, or it might bring down the reputation of the very vocation that you are going to practice. So language should be perfect. These days we have a debate of bilinguality. I would also agree to that, because understanding of the most complex of subjects that rules life should be in a language that the people at large understand. But at the same time, The link language, which is English, in which we are conversing today, according to me, is indispensable. China has introduced this language in its curriculum after a very long time. Globally, we are impacted by so many laws. We cannot afford to lose any education except in this language. But at the same time, the litigant public or the public at large also deserves to know what we are talking, what we are understanding. Therefore, a bilingual approach in teaching and learning can help us all. Sporting activities, literature, active mooting, and the most important thing is to start a reading habit that has been lost on account of the small telecommunication system that you carry all the time in your hand. Please start reading books. They are your best companions and they will come to your aid. Books have not yet lost their efficacy. Whatever I am today or my colleagues are today, we did not have mobile phones in our age, but we can understand the impact of both. How does it comfort you when you read a book or when you read it on Kindle? Well, all that is said for the new life that you are going to enter into. But again, I would remind you of Benjamin Franklin. He very humorously said, mankind can be divided into three classes. Those who are immovable, those who are movable, and those who can move. You have to move and become the vehicle of change. You see, your skill and confidence that you are going to gather here, this will act as your own army and help you to reach heights that have been scaled by eminent people, whether it is Nani Palkiwala, whether it is Ram Jethmalani, or whether it is in the eminent field like Professor Madhav Menon in academics, or some of the best judges that we have had, not to name a few, like Justice Krishna Iyer and the like. You can reach those heights. And reaching of that height is through language and the use of the appropriate words that you are going to employ in learning your language. Do not put off for tomorrow what you can do today. The reason is because if you enjoy your subject today, you will learn it more tomorrow. Well, I would like to continue to address students for any amount of time that the university desires, but time is precious. And I would remember Descartes, who said that, well, nothing is important except to save your own time, which is most precious. And Heraclitus, who said, everything, nothing is more important than change. So you are there, the vehicle of change. Time is more precious. And I would congratulate once again all the students who have entered the portals of the university to put in their best. And to the last word, please distinguish yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very beautiful and inspiring remarks. I'm sure that your remarks have raised curiosity amongst our students, not only in the fields of law, justice, and literature, but also in topics of mooting and research and clinical programs. I believe that we could not have asked for a better start than this. Now, proceeding with the event, we are moving to the presidential address by our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Professor Dr. Dilip Uke, sir. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to invite our head of the family, our pillar of strength, and the heart and soul of our institution, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Sir is an erudite expert in jurisprudence and constitutional law. Sir's works has been recognized in various international and national forums. He is a scholar, an author, and institution builder. And I am happy to say that Sir has been recently nominated as a member of the Advisory Board for Development of Legal Education and Legal Profession by the Bar Council of India. Sir has served on various high-level committees including UGC, NAC, UPSC, State Public Service Commissions, and Judges Selection Panel. Sir's expertise has also been appreciated by judges including Honorable Justice Krishna Iyer, sir. He's a leader with vision, and as we all are seeing that MNLU is growing at a very high pace over the past couple of years, all the credit goes to him for his vision and his leadership. It is indeed a great pleasure to have you as a leader to head our family, and I take this opportunity to invite you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. Chief guest of today's 7th Orientation Day program, Honorable Mr. Justice A.P. Sahi sir, former Chief Justice of High Court and now presently Director of National Judicial Academy, Bhopal. Our Registrar, Dr. Anil Variyat, HOD of UG, Dr. Kiran Rai, HOD PG, Dr. Anand Raut. All my colleagues, teaching and non-teaching, dear student friends, their parents, family members. At the outset, I welcome once again our Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Sahi sir, as well as all those students and parents who have joined for this orientation program online. Dear friends, it is the pandemic because of which not only we, everywhere, things are going on online. Otherwise, this day, orientation day, is to be always a kind of a festive moment for the university, a kind of a celebrating moment for the university. However, because of this pandemic, there is no other option but to go ahead with online. I must thank Honorable Justice Sahi sir for his excellent thought as well as the philosophy of learning not only a law, a legal education, but learning of a life. Dear student friends, those who have joined 5 years BA LLB honors course as well as 1 year LLM course in Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai. It is indeed our pleasure to have you here for respective course period, 5 years as well as 1 year respectively. As you have taken an admission, I hope and believe that you have chosen the field of law not by compulsion by either your parents or friends, but rather that was your own will, that was your own desire. Moreover, to take an admission in National Law University, any National Law University, appearing in CLAT, you must have had done tremendous hard work in past 1 year. You must have taken so much efforts, and your parents also equally must have supported you from all the aspects, from all the sides. That hard work, those efforts which you have taken during last 1 year or so, and succeeded in taking admission in Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai. That is not the aim. That was not to be the goal. That was just one facet of the journey. Goals are to be set. Goals for futures are to be set. And goal is not only to be complete your education and take your degree, obtain your degree from this university. That is a mechanical process. What is important is to gain the knowledge, a knowledge of law. And in this process, no doubt, our faculty members are there to help you, to assist you, to guide you. But at the same time, you also need to motivate yourself. You also need to help yourself. You also need to guide yourself. You may wonder that how it is so, how it could be. First and foremost, since you have taken admission now, investing money, investing the precious years of your life, dear friends, as Justice Holmes said, life of law is not a logic, but it is an experience. You need to undergo that experience when you learn law. You have to have, first and foremost, you have to have the patience. Lecture will be for 1 hour, sometime it may be 2 hours, sometime conferences, seminars, those things will be there. So to sit for the scheduled period of time, either online or offline, whenever it opens. That is one. And merely sitting, either online or offline, for whatever the period is required, would not be enough, would not be sufficient one. But rather, more than that, to focus, to concentrate on whatever the things which are being taught to you. Unless you focus, unless you concentrate, unless you grasp, unless you try to understand, mere mugging up would not help you to be a good student. All of us are students. Justice Sai sir has given you so many things during the course of his speech. That's what I said, quoting Justice Holmes. Life of law is not logic, but it is an experience. You need to undergo that experience. Lectures apart, conferences, seminars, assignment apart, when you undertake your study, during that process, whatever the literature, whatever the material, either textbooks or cases which you refer, which you rely upon, it is not only reading. Of course, one must read and read. But mere reading is not enough. What is equally important or more important is try to first understand that, grasp that, and then try to analyze with reasoning. Question your teacher. Ask the questions. But before that, ask yourself that whether you are attentive, whether there was a concentration on your part, whether you undertook certain efforts or not. And that's why. When you read anything, just don't read apparently, merely, but try to go deep down. That what is lying underneath of that, what is lying below that, because life, law, they are not, as Justice Venkatachalaya said in one of the classic R.C. Podial case. Words are the frameworks of the concepts. Every word, any single word, it connotes certain thing. One has to make certain effort to dig, to go deep, digging down what lies there under. Just merely reading either the provisions of respective laws or the decision, you won't be able to understand. There is a philosophy behind it. You read judgments, original judgments, not from the books, quoted one, cited one. Read original judgments. When you read original judgments, particularly delivered by the highest court of the land, Indian Supreme Court, which is the law also. Law is not there only in books, but law is there in the judgments as well, rather, which is more otherwise superior. As we know, Article 141 of the Indian Constitution says, not the decision delivered by the Supreme Court. It says that law declared by the Supreme Court is binding. And it is not binding upon only the courts as a precedent, it is not binding upon only the parties, but also it is binding upon even an administration. And that law is more superior, higher. Even the written provision of the Constitution, written word of the Constitution may not be relevant because of the decision delayed. There are several such occasions. This is not the time and occasion wherein we could go through all those things. And therefore, I urge all of you that develop that habit, develop that practice. Too, you have to have that patience, you have to have that perseverance. Because now, from today onwards, your life is changed one. And when this changed life you are entering, you may require to change your habits. You may require to change your likings. You may require to change your thinking. You may require to change your work culture, your nature. Because study is not merely studying to gain the knowledge of law. What is equally important is how to utilize that knowledge, how to use that knowledge, not only for your own sake, not only for your own benefit, but for the benefit of the society. As Justice Sai sir had referred in between about the human consciousness. As the famous German philosopher and jurist Kant, who undertook the scrutiny of human consciousness. According to him, there are primarily three functions of the human mind, human consciousness: thinking, volition, and feeling. And then he undertook the critical analysis of that. Thinking, volition, not violation, volition and feelings. That's why we are, all of us are endowed with that human reason. We do not know how much power we possess and what we can do on the basis of that power if it is utilized, used positively, properly and effectively. As per the scientific survey, human beings do not use their mind to its optimum level, hardly few percent positively. Most of the time, the mind works towards negative and destructive things. That's why. That human reason, that human consciousness, that thinking capacity, that's what I said. It is not merely reading which is necessary, at the same time thinking in terms of not only what you have read, not only what you have been taught by your respective faculty members, but independently also. It might sound philosophical, maybe sound spiritual, but there is an aspect which is known as thinking without a mind. One may wonder how one can think without a mind. Think from your heart. Thinking without mind, that passion and that compassion both are needed, are required. Dear friends, before I speak about this, I won't take much of the time. But this institution, Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai, it is just 7 years old. But herein, we believe that not only it is the education, legal education, as it has been referred by the anchor, Mr. Aditya, that we offer BA, LLB honors 5 years degree course, then 1 year LLM course, other master's program. We have also centers, 14 centers. But more importantly, herein, we do not believe in that quote unquote NLU culture. This is the secular, inclusive, higher legal educational institution, wherein only the knowledge imparting as well as creation would matter, irrespective of caste, creed, region, religion, culture, so on and so forth. Similarly, we believe in the freedom, we believe in autonomy, we believe in liberty of every individual as well as human dignity. This is not a time when you join here on campus. Hopefully, maybe next semester. Then that time we may have a better interaction, a personal interaction. Sir, we have also a kind of a vision, mission, and as we call it, as a preamble of Maharashtra National Law University, Mumbai, wherein those values of the institution which have been ingrained therein, with utmost importance, significance given to respecting the human dignity to every individual. And that's why, as you have become now the part and parcel of this institution, we are trying our best, along with our limitations, to offer the best of the things which are possible for us. I can tell you that, like other national law universities, we do not believe in nor practice that eliteness as such. I assure you, on behalf of all my colleagues, teaching, non-teaching, all, that this is a truly a secular one, truly humanistic one, as well as a transparent one. Hence, the parents of all those students who are there online, if not, it is the duty of every respective students to please convey our message to your parents that you are here at your second home. It will be, whenever you come here, it will be home away from home. Either teaching staff or administrative staff, they are not only teaching or administrative staff, but rather they are your guardians. We are your guardians. We are like your parents, your brothers, sisters. Whatever the doubts, if at all they are there in your mind, please remove them. Do not have any kind of hesitancy to contact herein for any such things related with academic. And thereby, as I said that we try to offer the best of the things possible on our side from our part as. Wherein Justice Sai has talked about the uniqueness of the institution. And that's what rather I would say Justice Sai has taken the word from me, which I wanted to say. We want to be unique, we want to be distinct, and that's what the distinctiveness of this institution is. And distinctiveness is that not merely imparting the legal education, but along with that, certain value-based education. Basic values of humanity. Dear friends, dear student friends, we know well that we are addressing today not only admitted first year BA LLB honors students, but possibly we are addressing future Justice Krishna Iyers, future Advocate Harish Salvez or Ram Jethmalani, so on and so forth. But to achieve that, to reach to that height, to reach to that stage, what would require is not only the hard work, not only efforts, but along with the hard work, along with those efforts, what would require and what requires is more those values. Justice Krishna could not have been Justice Krishna Iyer had he just merely focused upon his study and practice of law. Read his judgments. That's what I said. Read any of the judgment. You won't find only law declared by him there as a Supreme Court judge. You'll find the philosophy of life. You'll find the values of humanity. You'll find the concerns for marginalized sections, concerns for those issues being encountered by the society, by the country. And that's why. Why even Justice Sai also took his name? Why anybody at any platform takes his name? Reason is this. Not only, as I said, passion, the compassion, his own words. Compassion for humanity, compassion for human dignity, compassion for human rights, a peace. As it is pointed out that we are living in a civilized society. It is a civilized, liberal, democratic society. Yet, there are aggressions, yet there are violations, yet there are violences, so on and so forth. And that's why we need to think over this. Everybody, not only students, including ourselves, that why it happens. It happens because the functioning of human consciousness, functioning of human mind, as Kant has said. That is very necessary to understand. That conscience, we have to have the conscience, we have to have to reasonability, rationality, certain ethics, certain values of morality. Law is not everything. There is, though it is the longest constitution of India, even that is not also self-sufficient. It is not written everything there yet, even now till this moment. There are several such things which are beyond the written words, which are beyond the written provisions. And that's why what is needed is those basic human values. And that's why one can become Justice Krishna, that's why one can become Advocate Harish Salve, so on and so forth. But for which we need to adhere to, we need to abide by those basic human values, as well as your dedication, your discipline, and your devotion to the cause for which you are spending your time, you are spending your money and your life, precious years of your life. I still recall again and refer to great philosopher, German transcendental idealisms, Kant. His famous categorical imperative is the mantra for all of us to remember and to abide by both. What is this famous categorical imperative? Categorical, in a way, it is mandatory, it is necessary, it is essential. There is no choice, there is no option. That's why it is categorical, imperative. It is absolutely essential, like oxygen. And that famous categorical imperative is what Kant has said. Act in such a way that the maximum of your action could be made the maximum for general action. Of course, dear student friends, this is not the lecture. Law is also a life. That's what rather the experience, as Justice Holmes said. What is that categorical imperative is? What is the message? What contents therein? That act in such a way that the maximum of your action could be made the maximum for general action. It means that I shall act, I shall behave in such manner that others will follow me. And if that happens, act in such a way that the maximum of your action could be made the maximum for general action. You respect others, others will respect you. And that's what is needed. Because today, if at all we have learned anything from this pandemic, we must learn one thing, if not at all learn, then that life is what? That is nothing but the kind of a moment. Everybody knows about this. And even though we know, still we fight, still we develop grudges, still we develop jealousies, ill wills, hatred, so on and so forth. And therefore, dear student friends, when you come over here physically, you will meet your several classmates from different parts of the country, speaking different language, having different culture. Nevertheless, what binds is not only the citizenry, is not the thing as a citizen of the country, but rather what shall bind is nothing but that humanity. All of us are human beings, and thereby, since all of us are human beings, we need to behave like a human being. We need to act like a human being. And that's what precisely that Kant's categorical imperative is all about. I'm sure, I'm confident that this message is clear to you, and hopeful at the same time that whenever we meet personally here, we will not only remember, but rather will try to abide by this categorical imperative. Of course, post-lunch session, the other sessions will be there, by which you will be made acquainted with the system and rest of the other things. Nevertheless, At this juncture, at this occasion, I once again congratulate you. I wish all the best to all of you, not for the successful completion of your degree course, but to become a successful human being of this great civilized cultural society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very inspiring remarks. Your remarks have indeed provided a good direction to our upcoming students on what they will be experiencing in the coming few years. I am very much sure that our students will learn a lot more from you and will hear a lot more from you during their stay here. As sir rightly pointed out, MNLU Mumbai is not a pure law school. We are an incubation hub, we are an education hub, and we focus on values as well as education. Moving ahead with our function, I like to invite Dr. Kiran Rai ma'am to propose a vote of thanks. Ma'am is our HOD and Associate Professor of Law at MNLU Mumbai. Ma'am is a recipient of University Gold Medals in her LLB and LLM programs. After her doctorate, she has more than 14 years of experience in teaching corporate law courses to both graduate and undergraduate courses. She, before joining MNLU Mumbai, headed the Galgotias University School of Law in various positions. And she has successfully collaborated with many programs with NHRC, National Commission of Women, Competition Commission of India, and IBBI. I can also tell you that over the past few years, she has been a strong pillar of growth, and I take great pleasure in inviting you to deliver the vote of thanks, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Honorable Justice A.P. Sahi, Director, National Judicial Academy, India, Bhopal. Honorable Professor Dilip Uke, Vice Chancellor, MNLU Mumbai. Respected Registrar, Professor Anil Varyat. Respected Dr. Karuna, HOD, Center for Research, Dr. Anand Raut, HOD PG, esteemed faculty members, lovely staff, and today's center of attraction, our new students and their parents. I'm actually privileged to give this vote of thanks, and I feel that you would also be delighted to come to this last segment of this orientation program. Post lunch, we will have interactive session. Now, on this vote of thanks, on behalf of MNLU Mumbai, I propose sincere thanks to the chief guest, Justice A.P. Sahi, who graced this 7th orientation day and gave his words of wisdom. Sir, we assure you that we are going to imbibe ethics and work towards full potential to become truly extraordinary. We will endeavor to turn the mirror to window, and we will work towards becoming the soldiers of social engineering. Sir, you have beautifully emphasized what new challenges lies ahead in the era of artificial intelligence and privacy protection. Sir, we will work together with faith in each other, and we sincerely thank you once again for showing us the path, the challenges that would be coming up in the path, and the ways and means to face those challenges. Now I take this opportunity to thank, and very often we keep on thanking our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dilip Uke. In family law term, we will say the Karta of this MNLU Parivar, the term which the reference, we keep on referring it, and Anil sir introduced you with the term MNLU Parivar. So I thank the Karta of MNLU Parivar for his constant guidance, motivation, and inspiration. Thank you, sir, for showing the students about the changes they should be bringing in themselves as law students. Sir, we will work to protect dignity of others while continuing to enjoy our liberties. I thank Professor Anil Varyat for leading us in all activities and for instilling in us enthusiasm for every work which comes our way. I sincerely thank all faculty members, staff of MNLU Mumbai, and especially Aditya Varyat for beautifully conducting this program, who was the master of ceremony for this program. I would like to thank the parents in believing in us and assure them that we will work in the best interest of their children. At last, I would close this by welcoming the new students and telling them, let us have a wonderful Learning 5 experience ahead. Thank you all.
As we have come to an end of this wonderful session, and after hearing all the speeches by our esteemed and distinguished guest, I can assure you that MNLU Mumbai is not only growing, but we are growing strong and we are reaching greater heights. As if I may speak on behalf of the faculties, I can tell you that we will miss you all in the campus, but we'll make sure that by using technology and using other means, we'll not trouble you in any manner, or we'll ensure that all the academic programs that we do will reach out to you with greater emphasis. Now, I also take this opportunity to invite our students to the following sessions post-lunch. The schedule and links have already been mailed to you. With your kind permission, VC sir, I'd like to close this program. Okay, so now I request all the members present here and all the participants who have joined for this program to kindly stand up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all for joining. Thank you.